தம்பிக்கு கல்யாணமா?
கணேஷ் சார்.
சார் வணக்கம்.
சார் வணக்கம், எப்படி இருக்கீங்க?
நல்லா இருக்கேன், நல்லா இருக்கேன்.
கொடுத்தீங்களா
என்ன சார்?
கிளாஸ் 5 மணிக்கு 4 மணிக்கா சார் கிளாஸ்?
4 மணிக்கு தான் ஆச்சு, ஆச்சு வந்துருவாங்க.
ஆக்சுவலி 4 மணிக்கா? ஓகே சார், ஓகே சார், ஓகே சார். யார் பிரசன்ட் பண்ணாலும் தெரிஞ்சு லைனே வராம இருக்காங்க.
என்ன சார்?
இன்னும் யார் பிரசன்ட் பண்ணாம இருக்காங்களே? வீடியோ க்ளோஸ் பண்ணிக்கங்க, அப்பதான் அவங்க பிரசன்ட் பண்ண தெரியணும்.
Yeah, I've done that. You're able to hear me now? You're able to see the screen, Karthik, Mr. Tangam, you're able to see the screen also? That's what I did. That's what I did. Yeah, so now your entire screen is pressed. Then share. On. You're able to see the screen now? Oh my God! When you did. No, no, I did the exercise earlier itself. I did this. Earlier, they were able to see the screen. That's what I did. Share. You're able to see the screen? Now you got it? You got my first slide? Yeah, thank you very much. Once again, a very warm welcome to all of you who have joined the Ramco Institute of Technology's webinar series. So at the very outset, we in Indian Green Building Council would like to thank Ramco Institute of Technology for the wonderful opportunity and the total support extended to us, especially to the professors, Dr. Kannan, Karthik Prabhu, Mr. Tangam, and the entire team has put me to this. Hope my voice is also audible to each one of you. Very good. Thanks for taking. So the agenda for the next 45 minutes is, let us discuss what is a green building, what are the challenges, and how we in IGBC have converted all the challenges to opportunities. Then 2025 innovative emerging technologies, which you'll all love it. That is a crux of my presentation. And followed up by how we, all of us who are listening to us today, can join IGBC in this green building movement. So this is a broad agenda for the next 45 minutes. So we would love to start with the challenges. When we started this movement in 2000-2001, we engaged a lot of stakeholders like you. And the challenges typically are many, but I would like to highlight what are the top 5 challenges we faced and we are facing till even today also. So the number one challenge is, whenever we say any incremental opportunity or anything new we wanted to do, many of us, we feel India's population is more than 1.3 billion people. Population growth is the biggest challenge. This is what you hear typically. The second challenge, many of the cities and now the towns and the villages, as the summer has approached, in the past we used to have plenty of water everywhere. Now the present scenario, what you are seeing on the right hand side, many of us are not having an access to the drinking potable water itself. So this is a second challenge most of us we face in India. Third is on waste. Every city or a town in India, earlier it used to be a very clean. If you see the 100 years ago, our own societies were much cleaner, much greener. But the present scenario, I'm equally patriotic. See from my the perspectives, what are the challenges we are facing. Present day, for example, a city like Bangalore itself generates more than 3,500 tons of waste per day. So the waste handling is the biggest challenge in most of the cities and towns. Fourth challenge is transportation. So we closely work with Bangalore. That's the reason I'm taking example of Bangalore. Bangalore city alone has 13,000 kilometers of road length. But many of us in car, we travel at 10 kilometers per hour speed actually. So that is a speed of a bicycle. So we are traveling in a car at a bicycle speed. And on an average, a citizen spends almost more than 240 plus hours stuck only in traffic jam in a year. So transportation is another biggest challenge we face. Fifth one is on air quality. So earlier, 100 years or 150 years ago, the ambient air was more cleaner, more greener. The CO2, SOx and NOx levels are not so present at all, or it is very minimal within the norms. Whereas if you see on the right hand side, this is even the man has covered his nose even before the COVID-19 has occurred. So in order to protect himself from the polluted air, So here again, these are the top 5 challenges the Indian green building sector or construction sector or a common man faces. And some of the other challenges as far as the building industry is concerned is there is a substantial change in the lifestyle. So lifestyles have changed dramatically. The comfort levels, when you compare with 50 years or 60 years ago, what it was and now, it is much different. And the affordability also. Earlier, if you see, we have to wait to get a scooter. Registering 40 years, 50 years ago, that's what my father also did. To get a scooter, he has to wait for months together, years together. Whereas now, the affordability for a home or an office or any appliance has become much easier. So all these is putting a lot of demand on the resources. So we need more than a planet Earth, 1 or 2 planet Earth's demand resources to meet our ever-growing demand. And already some of the resources are very finite and it is a fragile ecosystem. So our ever-growing demand puts it all the more tough for all the resources to sustain. So these are the few challenges. We wanted to convert these into opportunities. So that is the reason we in CII is a Confederation of Indian Industry. It's an apex industry association. Incidentally, this year, CII is celebrating 125 years of our service. So we started in year 1895. I repeat, 1895. 125 years ago, the Confederation of Indian Industry has been formed in order to serve the citizen and the country alike. So in 2000, whatever the challenges we saw earlier, as well as the building sector was about to grow in leaps and bounds. So the Indian Green Building Council has been formed by CII. So this council, and we are all permanent employees of CII. And before we started the service, our chairman, Mr. Godrej, mentioned that our own center in Hyderabad, what you see, the CII Godrej Green Business Center, which is the headquarters of IGBC, has to be designed as per the world's best standards on energy, environment, and climate change. So this is how this modern 21st century green building movement in India started with our own Hyderabad headquarters building, which has been designed between year 2000 to 2001 and constructed on 13th of November 2003. This building has been awarded as the world's greenest building. So the world's greenest building title has been awarded to our own IGBC headquarters building in Hyderabad in India. All of you who are listening to this presentation, you and your colleagues and your institution, all the members are invited to IGBC. Whenever you visit Hyderabad after the lockdown or whenever you are visiting, you are most welcome to visit our center. The center has been inaugurated by then President His Excellency Dr. late APJ Abdul Kalam on 14th of July 2004. So IGBC headquarters, which is the world's greenest building in year 2003, has been inaugurated by him. So we closely work with government, both at the state level and the central level. If you see the vision of the Indian Green Building Council, the vision of the Indian Green Building Council is to enable sustainable built environment for all. So that is the reason we have chosen a topic, what is the true potential of a green building? So in the process, we want India to become one of the global leaders in sustainable built environment by 2025. So this is the overall vision of CII's Indian Green Building Council, which is popularly known as IGBC. So we are also a founding member of World Green Building Council since 2004. 70 countries, right from Australia, Japan, Philippines, Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong, India, Middle East, Europe and Americas and all the countries, they have their own Green Building Council, which are all members of World Green Building Council. So why I'm saying this is, we have a wider reach, and IGBC is the only council recognized by World Green Building Council from India. So all the activities what we do in India is represented in the World Forum through Indian Green Building Council. So we have a wider reach. All the institutions or the students and the faculty members who are listening to us, so if you require any support in getting the technical know-how or what the other green building councils are doing across the country, you are most welcome to contact us. So though our building has been designed and awarded with the world's greenest building in year 2003, we are not rested on our own past laurels. We have made many changes in the last 13 to 14 years. Very recently, we have changed all the air conditioning systems, the LED systems, and the most interesting stuff is what you see the aerial view of our own building. We have put a bifacial solar PV. The solar PVs are on both the sides of a very lightweight glass, which is very unique. So 140 kilowatt worth of solar PV, which is the first of its kind in India, which has been mounted all over the roof, as well as it has been put on the vertical faces of the building in some portions, which generates all the energy it requires for our building to be operational. One, what we have done is, we have enhanced the energy efficiency to the highest order so that our energy demand is the lowest. Having achieved the lowest ever energy demand required, the entire energy demand is met by the solar PVs mounted on the roof and the vertical solar PVs. So this has become a net zero energy building. Theoretically, we don't even require a electricity power connection from the grid, but due to various operational concerns, we do still have a electrical connection with our grid. So as far as that is a brief about our own IGBC headquarters building in Hyderabad. So green buildings are not new to India. India has a rich culture, heritage, and our history dates back to, even on a conservative side, dates back to 6,000, 7,000 years old history. Especially, I am a very big fan of places of worship. If you walk into a temple or a church or a mosque or a gurudwara, which has been constructed, some of the buildings, some of the places of worship you will be able to recognize, they have been constructed in the 8th and the 10th century. They will stand tall forever, and they are very comfortable when you walk in, even in the middle of the afternoon, like a peak summer in the May or June month. So what you are trying to tell us, India has a rich heritage, knowledge, and wisdom when it comes to green buildings also. So green buildings are not new to India at all. So how do we define a green building? As far as IGBC is concerned, this is how our definition goes. We engage all the stakeholders involved in the construction industry, like architects, engineers, consultants, academicians, manufacturers, and the common man to define it. So as far as IGBC is concerned, a green building is the one. Number one, it conserves natural resources. Number two, uses less water during construction as well as during occupancy. Number three, green building is the one which optimizes energy efficiency. Number four, green building is the one which generates less waste during construction phase as well as during the occupancy phase. Last but not the least, the fifth one is, a green building is the one which provides much more healthier spaces for every occupant, as well as provides a more healthier space for every living being on the planet Earth. So this is how green building is defined as far as IGBC is concerned. So put it in a nutshell, green building as far as IGBC is concerned is a holistic and integrated approach. So like what we have 5 fingers in our palm, the green building approach of IGBC encourages, number one, the site related concerns, how do we address it? Number 2 is on water efficiency. Number 3 is on energy efficiency. Number 4 is on materials. Number 5 is on indoor air quality. So that is how we are approaching a green building design, construction, and operation in a very holistic and very integrated way. So as I said, site, water, energy, materials, and indoor air quality, the 5 elements are not new to India. So when we started our journey in year 2000, so this is like a rediscovery of our own Indian ethos, which are all again 8,000, 9,000 years old. So the 5 elements of nature, what we call it as the Panchaputas in vernacular language, spiritually also, we pray to all these 5 elements of nature every single day. So the earth, water, Agni, the fire, Vayu, the air, Akash, the sky. So whatever I said earlier, the sight, water, energy, materials, and indoor air quality is completely aligned with our ancient wisdom of 5 elements of nature. So that is the reason we say in IGBC, green buildings are not new to India. Having said that, with the support of all the stakeholders, what it started as a one small project in year 2001, what you see on my left-hand side of the slide, 2,000 square feet building, IGBC headquarters building, with the support of all the stakeholders like you. Today, we in India have more than 5,800 plus projects, right from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from Kohima to Kutch on the other side, cutting across all the 5 climatic zones of India, and 7 billion square feet of space is adopting IGBC's rating program. I repeat, 7 billion square feet of green building spaces as we are talking today is adopting IGBC's green rating programs. So 7 billion square feet from India is a very, very monumental and a milestone. So amongst all the 70 green building councils across the world, India stands number 2. So we in India should feel proud, and we are pleased to mention that the entire credit goes to all the Indian construction industry stakeholders like developers, architects, interior consultants, manufacturers, every construction workforce and the common man involved in this movement for the last 20-21 years. So having seen what is green and what is IGBC, let us move on to the next in our agenda. What is IGBC green rating program and why we need a rating program? Since we only said that India has a rich culture of 7,000 years old, we know the know-how, we have the wisdom, ancient knowledge, then why do we need a rating program? Many of us may be wondering. But we need a rating program because, number one, it defines what is a green building. Otherwise, somebody may say that if I paint my wall of my office or institution with a green color paint, can I call my building as a green building? Or if I use a green tinted glass in my glass building, can I call my building as a green building? So though we love the color green, a green building should go beyond a color of a paint or a color of a glass. So that is the reason we need a rating program which defines what exactly we mean by a green building, number one. Number two, a green building rating program galvanizes the entire design, construction, and the entire team, right from the principal architect to the consultants to the manufacturers and the contractors, as well as the workforce involved in a building project. So they should all know what we are trying to do in a particular building project. So they should all be shown what is the requirement as far as the building typology is concerned. What I as an architect I should do. I as a developer, what should I do? I as a material supplier, I should do. What kind of a material I should supply to this particular A project or a B project. So there is also a need for a green building rating program. Third one is a green building rating program recognizes the achievement of a green design, construction, and operation team involved in enhancing the performance of the building with respect to energy, water, materials. So there is also another need for a rating program. In the process, by having a rating program, the entire green building market is being transformed. So we'll see what do you mean by a market transformation which has happened in the last 20 years. So this slide says why we need a rating program. So we in Indian Green Building Council, ever since we started in year 2001, we believe that every building typology is an animal species by itself. An office building is different from a data center. A metro station is different from an institution. A campus is different from an affordable housing project. The affordable housing project is different from a healthcare facility. So that is the reason we are the only council in the whole world to have 26 different IGBC green rating systems, so that the places where we live, learn, work, play, travel, and worship all can go green by adopting our IGBC's 26 green rating systems, which has been developed with the support of all the stakeholders, as well as by engaging various government agencies, both at the central and the state level, and nodal agencies like National Building Code, Energy Conservation Building Codes, and the MOEF. All these codes are being codes, and the ministries and the team of these committees are involved while developing the rating program itself. So we in IGBC also closely work with various government agencies also. For example, when we started developing the rating program for metro rails, which is the world's first metro rail rating program, has come from us. We have signed an MOU with Delhi Metro Rail Corporation, and when we started developing a rating program for railway stations, we signed an MOU with the Ministry of Railways, and the railway chairman as well as the members of railway boards are actively involved right from the day one of developing the rating programs. So what we do is we closely associate with various central governments as well as agencies and MOU partners like developers associations like CREDAI, Indian Institute of Architects, Indian Institute of Interior Designers, and others. So this has been holistically developed by involving all the stakeholders involved in the building sector. So we have a rich experience of handling homes, factories, offices, townships, places of travel like airport, metro stations, and villages and cities. So we have, as I'm talking to you, more than 2,000 plus projects are operational across the 5 climatic zones across the country. So let us come to the main element of my presentation, how we in IGBC collectively are able to address all those 5 challenges what you see in the earlier part of my presentation, how we converted those challenges to a great opportunity by incorporating innovative, futuristic, and emerging technologies in the IGBC certified green buildings. So the next 20 minutes, I literally run through some of the measures which has been implemented, because the time given by our Ramco Institute of Technology is only 1 hour. So literally I'll run through it. For any queries, you can come back to me during the question answer or later on also. As far as the site is concerned, we always encourage all the architects and designers and builders to protect all the flora and fauna present in a greenfield site. So we have to conceive and design a building project which is in harmony with the environment, which is in harmony with the nature. So that's why we call it as a green buildings are built around the environment. As you're able to see it in this slide, our own IGBC headquarters building, we have preserved all the rocks and we have retained the topography of the site as it is given. So that is the reason you are able to see these rocks. These rocks are million years old. They are much older than our own languages, what we are speaking today actually. So we are able to preserve and conserve the rocks, which are all million years old. So as it is. So the buildings are designed in such a way that they are all built in harmony with the nature. So we also wanted to protect the topsoil, the flora and the fauna. So in a given commercial site, in the places like Mumbai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, or even in a tier 2 or tier 3 cities, it is not possible to protect all the topsoil, which takes 500-600 years to get the nutritious value. So what we do is we strip the entire topsoil to the few inches, stack it up, preserve it. Once the building construction is over, we plow it back. There are hundreds of technologies available in order to protect the erosion of soil during the construction phase as well as during the operation phase by the wind or by the rainwater. So these are the few examples you are able to see some of the measures we have done. There are 100 measures available, whatever is applicable for erosion control or sedimentation control by having a swale. Swale is nothing but a kind of a trench done in an eco-friendly way using the entire earth and the contours, sedimentation traps, sedimentation basins or silt fencing, which can become a part of your landscape later on. So these are the few measures which are very popular and done in many of the IGBC certified projects across the country to preserve the entire microorganisms present in a 500-600 year old rich soil and enhance the biodiversity. So we in IGBC always believe in buildings are not designed and constructed and operated only for human beings. Buildings are built, designed, for further enhancing and promoting habitat and enhance the biodiversity. So that is the reason we in IGBC encourage to preserve the existing trees if you have any, or if you don't have anything, it is a barren land, plant more trees and saplings which are native and adapted to our climatic conditions and soil conditions, so that we enhance our green cover, which in turn enhances our biodiversity. The next element is on heat island effect. So we are just in the middle of the peak summer. Many of us are facing the brunt of the peak summer. Yesterday's Hyderabad temperature was as high as 43 degrees centigrade. So in a peak summer, the temperature goes up like anything. But at the same time, if I go 100 kilometers away from Hyderabad in a village which doesn't have much development, the temperatures are much lower in the middle of the afternoon. So that is what we call it as a heat island effect. So the difference in temperature on the same time when it measured in a well-developed city and when compared with a village or in the suburbs or in the countryside where the development is not that great. So mainly because of we in cities, we bring in a lot of concrete, we put in a lot of blacktop to cover our roads. So we bring in more and more concrete, and we need more car parks, we need more roads. Tongue in cheek, and I can always say road buildings are nowadays, the cities are designed for more for the cars rather than the people itself. So that is the reason, that could be one of the reasons for rise in temperature or having a higher heat island effect. How do we mitigate it? So there are n number of design and construction techniques available in order to mitigate the heat island effect. So how do I bring down the microclimate temperature when compared with the conventional cities? So some of the measures very popularly done are having a shaded pathways, going in for a beautiful trees which has a beautiful canopy so that they cover the pathways, be it the roads or the whatever the bouquets, beautifully, so that they are not exposed to the sunlight or not exposed to the ambient sunlight in a harsh way. Going in for a cool pavements which can be painted or have a beautiful high SRI coated material, have a vegetation. So these are the few measures we do it. That is with respect to the non-roof. As far as the roof is concerned, how do we treat the roof? The final finish of the roof is very important as far as the heat island effect is concerned. So normally people used to go for a China mosaic. The broken China mosaics are all laid out on the roof, which has a very high emissivity and reflectivity. Nowadays people are going in for a beautiful painting materials, or popularly known as high albedo painting materials, which has a very high reflectivity and very high emissivity, are painted on the topmost roof surface. So which will not allow the heat to come into my building through the roof. Third is a combination. People can have a green roof on the roof as well as going in for a high SRI paints also. So all the three options are available. So based on the utility of the roof surface, based on the functionality of the building roof surface, you can have all the three or the combinations of three as well. So still, if you don't believe us, this is a thermography of a roof surface which has a green roof as well as a well-grown tree on the topmost roof surface of a building in Mumbai. If you see the thermography closely, wherever you have a greenery, the temperatures are much lower. The red color spots are the one. Hello, Kanan? The red color spots are the one what you see, which is having a concrete surface which absorbs enormous amount of heat during the daytime. Then they re-radiate the heat after say 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So that is the reason we would love to have more and more green roof, or if green roof is not possible due to the various operational concerns, you can go for a high SRI coated paint surface, which will reduce the heat ingress through the roof. Even in big cities, we don't get many surfaces to have a landscape at the ground level. So the only option available is going in for vertical greenery all along the walls, both on the exterior as well as interiors. Now this is becoming a big trend actually. So these walls next to our indoors or exterior vertical walls are now, it is called as the living walls, which are able to mitigate the heat island effect At the same time, they are able to attract a lot of bees, butterflies, and bring down the microclimate to much cooler, bring down the temperatures and give us a much cooler space around us. So sustainable transportation is also addressed in the site-related issues very aggressively. I presume that many of you are from the academic or the institutional background. Here it is all the more important because your campuses run into few acres, a few hundred acres. So how the entire blocks are all interconnected by having a well-designed interconnected pedestrian network, so that I don't take my bike or a car when I'm moving from hostel to admin block or academic blocks. So adequate illumination to have this pedestrian network so that people are encouraged to use these pedestrian walks. They walk a lot within the campus can be encouraged, or in a big government projects and campuses can be done. This is also encouraged as a part of our sustainable transportation. Then we do encourage this all clicked in various institutions across the country. We all encourage usage of bicycle within the campuses by providing an exclusive bicycle lane so that they are all given a priority. They can all have a comfortable ride. Or within the campus, when somebody is moving out, we also provide access to the external transportation by having a beautiful shuttle to the nearest bus stops, metro stations, MMTS, whatever the public transportation services are available from our campus or from our office area, how you can get connect, so that we wanted to eliminate the usage of diesel or CNG or petrol-based, fossil fuel-based vehicle to the lowest ever possible. Second is on water efficiency. At a macro level, we have seen it at the site level. So how we address you saw that water is the biggest challenge. We saw it in the initial slides. How do we address it? So the popular 3R approach, we all know. How do we reduce, recharge, reuse to enhance the water efficiency? IGBC has introduced the 4th R, what we call it as a refuse. Some of the water fixtures, they don't need water at all. So they refuse to have water, or they don't need water during the operational phase. That's why we call it as a refuse. So God's gift is a rainwater. Yesterday also we had a beautiful showers, intense showers in Hyderabad. So every droplet of water, IGBC recommends to collect whatever falls within our site by having a beautiful ponds, water bodies, storage tanks, wherever it is possible. Wherever it is not possible due to the operational concerns or the non-availability of spaces, we encourage people to go for the recharge pits through the percolation pits, or using the old bore wells or the existing bore wells. So this is a classical example of another 300-acre campus here in Hyderabad, courtesy to ISB, Indian School of Business. So they have designed a very integrated rainwater harvesting system by adopting our IGBC Green Rating Program. And they have a capacity of multiple rainwater harvesting pits, followed up by multiple small, big pond. So they are able to capture 100% of a one-day rainfall can be captured within their site. Not even a single droplet of water will not overflow during a rainy season. So it has been done beautifully. These are the live examples. You are able to see the multiple rainwater harvesting pits. Even if there is an overflow, the pits are all interconnected, and they are all connected to the smaller pond. They are all in turn connected to the larger pond, so that the water from the rainwater is collected to the last droplet, harvested, and it is not let out of the site. There are n number of classical examples available across IGBC certified projects. Second is on landscape design. We closely work with Indian Society of Landscaping Architects, popularly known as ISOLA. All the landscape architects involved in ISOLA has given a lot of inputs to us. So we in IGBC, the IGBC rating program encourages usage of native, because I cannot take a plan from Chennai and place it in Hyderabad, because Chennai and Hyderabad climatic conditions are completely different. Hyderabad is not closer to sea or a river, so it is less humid, whereas Chennai is right on the sea coast. It is humid. The soil conditions are different. So whatever is suitable to the native to that particular location, we should put it. We encourage more and more native and naturalized plants or lawns as to be planted in the IGBC rated projects. They should be adaptive and drought tolerant species. And having planted a naturalized species, how do we irrigate them? So the sprinkler and drip irrigation, we we wanted to eliminate the usage of open-ended hose. If I give a open-ended hose, imagine I am a gardener in your site, in your office or a project campus. If you give me an open-ended hose, with the due respect to the gardener, I will drop it in one place. After half an hour, I come and pick it up your open-ended hose and put it on the other side. So instead of planting the water, I overwater the entire species may die. Sometimes the plants and saplings may die because of my overwatering, or I may take away the entire topsoil also. So that is the reason we encourage a lot of usage of these systems. They are all not so costly. They are all available in plenty. Next is very important element. We closely work with the Uniform Plumbing Code and other agencies in bringing down the water consumption by going in for low flow and ultra low flow fixtures. Whenever you are going to buy a new tap, please ensure, if my video is available, please check it out. What I'm showing is, in the video is a small aerator, which looks like a bottle cap. This is only going to cost us only 15 rupees, 15. The moment I put this aerator in my tap, the tip of the tap, this will reduce the water flow without compromising on my comfort levels. So 15 to 40% of the water flow can be regulated by using such a small aerator, which is small in size, but it has a very big impact on the water consumption. So when you're talking about WCs, Western Closet, going for a dual flushes, nowadays people are talking about 2 liters and 4 liters for the flushing system, and wherever possible go for a waterless urinals. So this is our own IGBC headquarters, wherein we installed the India's first waterless urinal in year 2003. Still it is operational. Last 18 years we have not faced any problem whatsoever is concerned. So there is no plumbing line on top of this fixture, and it doesn't require any water at all. So that is where the fourth R comes in. It refuses the water requirement. Having said about the water fixtures, how do we treat the wastewater generated? So there are a number of ways of going for a mechanical treatment, which uses a lot of chemical, which uses a lot of power to treat the grey water. Whereas here, the black and the grey water generated in our own office and IGBC headquarters, we treat it by natural process, what we call it as a phytoremediation. So what you see is a part of the landscape. It looks like a landscape, but there is a sewage treatment plant operational below. So this entire grey water is treated through the plant and it becomes a clear water, and it meets the Pollution Control Board norms on the pH value, biological oxygen demand, BOD, COD, whatever you call it, it meets all the demand. It has been done in many projects. All you need is, quite a good amount of space to install this phytoremediation, which is nothing but a natural way of treating the black and the grey water generated in our buildings. This has been done very beautifully in one of the Chennai house, small house, which they done it very beautifully. Next is on the water metering. So what is being measured only can be managed. What is being measured very well only can be managed very well. So we encourage, our rating program encourages to install water flow meters in a very strategic locations like the borewell inlet, where it is given to cooling towers, landscaping, or if you are talking about a campus, hostels are the one which consume enormous amount of water. Where, how do we connect it? So this is being beautifully done in many of the apartments in Bangalore. You see that these are all the water flow meters. It symbolically looks like our when you go to a petrol pump, there is a meter actually, correct? That is how it has been mounted on the entrance of the washrooms in these apartments. So before you enter the washroom, by seeing the meter, imagine it reads 100. After using the washroom in the morning for taking a shower, after usage you come out, if the meter shows 200, I consumed 100 liters to take a shower. So by putting these meters right at the strategic locations, people are able to bring in more awareness and bring in the change within, so that they should consume less water in their house or an office or a campus or wherever it is possible. So that is what the measuring can do wonders. Next is on energy. I'll slightly run through fast. Orientation of a building is very important, especially when you are coming up with a new building. Please give a lot of importance to orientation, because you can change the lamp, you can change the air conditioning unit after the building is done, but orientation you cannot change it. So this has to be given enormous amount of importance. Next is on going for high performance wall, the roof, so that India being a tropical country, we use air conditioning mostly for cooling, except for places northwards of Delhi, they may use it for heating during the winter months. But typically, southwards of Delhi, throughout the country, we use air conditioners only for cooling purpose. So we would love to have a high performance envelopes both at the wall as well as the roof, which doesn't bring the excess heat into our systems. There are n number of options available. If you are a civil engineer, you would love to have enormous amount of options with respect to the wall, the glass, the roof insulation materials. Enormous amount of options are available. Now the building designs are becoming contemporary also. They have started using the lightweight fabrics in order to provide a shading devices, so that the glass, the windows, the doors are beautifully shaded based on the sun path analysis. Based on the sun movement, the doors and windows can be protected in such a way that it brings in light but not brings in excessive heat into our air conditioned space through this effective usage of shading devices. Next is our IGBC rating program encourages passive architecture elements as well as other contemporary passive cooling systems also. For example, earth air tunnel, geothermal cooling, the wind towers are passive downdrop evaporative cooling system where the wall becomes a part of your cooling system. You will see some of the live examples. Here the earth tunnels are buried at say a few meters below the ground. They are buried a huge fume pipe. The entire air is drawn through that and they are filtered by having filters on the other side so that we don't get the insects or other unwanted polluted stuff before letting into the spaces. These are all very effective in places like Pune, Bangalore, Dehradun. And the radiant cooling, before pouring a concrete, the red color pipes are all buried along with the steel rods. Before pouring the concrete on the roof slab, the roof becomes a cool, chilled beam by carrying the chilled water. So the roof above our head can become a part of the air conditioning system. The floor below our foot in the space is acting like an underground flooring. The entire ducts are all on the underground. There is a geothermal cooling system. So your roof can act like a air conditioning system. Your floor can act like a air conditioning system. The wall can become a part of your air conditioning system. So lighting. So when a gas can travel in pipe, light, why not sunlight? So there is a question asked. They came out with very innovative pipe, which we call it as a sun pipe, which has a highly reflective material on the inside of a pipe. By having a polycarbonate sheet on the top, which brings in only the light. After multiple reflections, they're able to bring the light deep inside our house. This is a small house in Hyderabad where you're able to see in the picture, it looks like an artificial light glowing, correct? On the right bottom. Whereas it is not an artificial light. These are all the light, natural light brought down by the sun pipes. So energy efficient equipment is being encouraged when you buy an air conditioner or a pumping system, centralized chiller system, motors, all of them should be the energy efficient system. And how do we control, especially the campuses? You have a huge lighting systems for the outdoor lighting. It can be controlled very beautifully. And having brought down the energy demand to the lowest ever possible, we do go looking for renewable energy sources, the building integrated solar PV, the micro wind turbines, or in the entire parapet walls. In many of the institutions and many of the houses, they are able to have a combination of a micro solar PV by a micro wind turbine. You see it in our Indian flag tricolor. It is there. It has a small micro wind turbine as well as a smaller PV on top of it. So they can generate enough energy to have our entire lighting load on our individual house right on the combination of these two. So energy metering, similar to the water metering, we do encourage energy metering. Fourth is on materials. The waste management, as we said, one of the biggest challenge in many of the cities is how do we manage the waste? So that is being addressed in a very holistic way. Having collected the waste, segregated, there are n number of natural processes available to treat the waste generated, like the vermicomposting, leaf composter, or wherever it is not possible, we can go for a mechanical processing. And in some of the classical examples, the segregated waste is able to generate enormous amount of biogas. Especially if you have a huge canteen or a hostel facilities in your campuses, the biogas can come back to our own canteens and then they can replace enormous amount of our LPG cylinders. And how do we handle the waste during construction? That is also encouraged during a construction phase. We can segregate the waste in a much better way. Select an eco-friendly material. How will I know it is an eco-friendly material? Here, for example, a railway sleeper is being used. The old railway sleepers, which are all 150 years, as a envelope on the envelope in a new building. They not stopped it there. The pine wood, which comes as a container, after a container which carries the materials, they are all dumped earlier and as a waste. Whereas the waste pine container or small cotton boxes which are made out of pine woods, they're all converted as a modular furniture in a multinational office in India. Can you believe it? And they are all converted as a false ceiling tile also. So there is nothing called waste in the Indian philosophy. So what I consider as a waste becomes a food or a resource for somebody else. So that's what we call it as a waste becomes a resource. We encourage usage of recycled material. Whenever you buy any cement, please check it out, the recycled content. Whenever you buy a block, steel, furnitures, they all have a recycled content. For example, the pencil which I'm holding it, this is made out of a plastic, which is made out of CD. The old CDs, they are all processed so that we don't cut the trees from the forest. Earlier, the pencils were all made out of only wood. So this is, when a small consumer item like a pencil can go green, why not a civil or a construction or our civil building construction material? That is the reason we have launched a service called Green Pro. Next time, whenever you buy any civil construction material like a paint, steel, cement, concrete, please look for this logo, Green Pro certified logo. It has a framework. There are more than 1,000 products in India are certified by IGBC's Green Pro. So these products are eco-friendly. They are manufactured in a very efficient way. The way in which they source the material, the supply chain, how they transport from the finished product, how it reaches, all of them being taken care. And if you are a material manufacturer, you can export these products because it is a Green Pro certified. There is a huge demand across the world. We also encourage pre-engineered and prefabricated technologies. For example, this particular house in a Bangalore police headquarters has been constructed for police employees. They have constructed this house for 2 police officers in 17 days. Can you believe it? 2 houses in 17 days. 18th day they had the housewarming session, and the beauty is they not even generated 1 milligram of waste in the construction process. It is all pre-engineered, fabricated at site. So 5th one is on indoor environmental quality. Nowadays we are spending most of our time indoors, especially for the last 2 months. We are all spending our house in indoors. So what the health and well-being of us is decided by what kind of air quality I inhaled. The quality of air which I inhaled is going to decide my quality of my life. So next is on the materials what we use, the kind of a paint, the carpets, the adhesives and sealants. Third is the connectivity of my house or an office to the external world. So these are the top 3 parameters which ensures a better indoor environmental quality. So we do encourage the naturally ventilated spaces wherever the occupancy is big. For example, classrooms, in our classrooms in our institutions, we put 60-70 people in a classroom. So there obviously many times we may go for air conditioners or seminar halls or our call centers. So whenever you go for a mechanical air conditioning systems are there, you go in for a treated fresh air unit which brings an enormous amount of fresh air to every employee. So that is being encouraged. So not only we encourage energy friendly, environment friendly products, we encourage, IGBC encourages people friendly products like paints, carpets and composite wood. As I said, please look in for a Green Pro certified products which are all people friendly. So for example, whenever we paint a house, when we use a conventional paint, next day you will not be able to walk to the house actually, because the conventional paints may have excessive volatile organic compound, popularly known as VOC. VOC stands for volatile organic compound present in conventional paints. Whereas some of the green paints or the Green Pro certified paints, they have an absolute 0 VOC content. Because even a measuring device which is 0 means is not absolute 0, even the measuring device is not able to detect the minimum quantity available in the VOC level in the paints. So this is what we call it as a 0 VOC paints are available, which are all people friendly. Next is we also encourage to bring in more and more daylights and views. So that is being encouraged. These are all the IGBC certified projects. Houses, what you see on the bottom is a house wherein it is completely connected to the external world. Offices are connected to the water bodies. The meeting rooms are happening on an open space, which is completely daylit. So the daylit has a greater impact on a health benefit. The vitamin D is deficient in India. It is very, very ironic. The biggest source or the only source for vitamin D is the natural sunlight. The sunlight is available in abundance in India for 365 days. When my skin is not getting exposed to the sunlight, then I'm getting into a vitamin D deficiency. So by bringing in a daylight and occupants walking all over, so we have a great opportunity to bring in more and more daylights and views. These are all done in many institutions. These are all done in very beautifully by having a skylight, light shelves. And the last one, we encourage people to be more healthier, more happier. So we need health and well-being facilities. The key word in IGBC for the last 3 years is health and well-being. Health, well-being. Now hygiene is also getting added with a COVID scenario. So health, hygiene and well-being is being encouraged by IGBC rating program to bring in these facilities. So these are all measurable benefits. Based on these elements, what you saw, these features, every project is rated at 4 levels. The highest level is platinum rated because you achieved global leadership level for incorporating many green features, what you saw earlier. Next, gold is on the national excellence. Third is on silver for outstanding performance. Certified is the best practices you have done. So platinum, gold, silver, certified is the certification levels offered by IGBC. So by adopting our IGBC rating program, you may be wondering, what is that you will get? One, you'll be able to save, for example, 1 million square feet of office space. They are able to reduce 15,000 megawatts worth of electrical energy can be saved by going green with IGBC. Water savings to the tune of 40,000 kiloliters to 45,000 kiloliters can be saved in 1 million square feet office space, which is IGBC certified. So the water saved and energy saved brings down our water bill and energy bill, so that our operational cost of my building, green building, comes down drastically low. And the water saved and energy saved is available for my own countrymen. So the water saved and energy saved will also reduce my global greenhouse gas emissions or CO2 emissions to the tune of 12,000 tons per million square feet. And we are also able to divert the construction waste reaching the landfill. We are able to bring in 700 megawatt of renewable energy sources. So IGBC green rating programs, what you saw from the earlier my presentation, is very simple in terms of understanding and the approach, but it is very demanding in terms of performance from the architects, developers, engineers, consultants, and the end users. And it has a profound impact on the environment. As we're able to see, that saves enormous amount of energy, it consumes less water, brings in enormous amount of value to every participant, every occupant in the office. So it has a profound impact. All the 26 IGBC rating programs have become a national by choice and global in performance. When you adopt IGBC rating program for your office building or a home or a campus, you can proudly say that you are having a truly world-class institution by adopting our IGBC standards. We do run a program called IGBC Green Education. Because of want of time, I'll run through it. Indian green building sector is growing in leaps and bounds. We need more than 100,000 trained green building professionals every year. So that is the reason we have a unique program for green professionals. All the faculty members and students are encouraged, especially faculties are encouraged to become an IGBC accredited professional, popularly known as IGBC AP. AP stands for accredited professional. And for students also, we have a bigger vision. There is a classroom program for 45 hours certification course. We run it, and we have a train the trainer faculty program is also run by us. So there are key benefits for students. We in IGBC will be more than happy to join hands with you all in the green education program. So what it began in India 20 years ago by constructing IGBC headquarters as the world's greenest building, the 21st century modern green building kickstarted from here with the support of all the stakeholders, and it has become a movement by itself. When I say movement, it has a greater impact on every citizen on the planet of Earth. So that is the reason it has become a movement. It has a bigger benefit for each and every citizen of our country. So 7 billion square feet adopting our IGBC rating program. This has become a big movement by itself. and it belongs to each one of you. Each one of you, the students, the faculty members, academicians, the government, developers, architects, engineers, designers, each one of you belong to this movement. Because of you only, we in India were able to showcase 7 billion square feet is possible in less than 17 years. So you all bring in innovation, inspire people, and involve more and more people. So the entire Indian Green Building Council is very, very pleased to have each one of you as a partner. And the building sector is going to grow. I'm going to conclude in another 2-3 minutes. So the building sector is growing in leaps and bounds. So we are going to add almost 50 billion square feet in the next 20-25 years. So there is an enormous amount of growth in the construction sector. So we saw already the 5 challenges: water scarcity, transportation, waste handling, energy. Where is the air conditioning is going to come? So there is enormous amount of challenges, correct? So that is the reason we have chosen. And you saw the last 25 slides, what you saw. These are all the green building measures and features which are able to harness the potential available. So the true potential, when we all collectively come together and make every single building, both existing and the new buildings which are going to come up as a green building by adopting our IGBC green building norm, that is a true potential. So by harnessing the true potential to harness all the natural resources, the site elements through our IGBC rating program, the water will be no more seen as a scarcity. We will move from scarcity to abundance. So as I told you, by installing a small aerator, it's a small piece of an aerator in the tip of the tap, we'll be able to save enormous amount of water. Imagine every tap in India overnight has an aerator, that there won't be any scarcity at all. So these are the few measures. By doing all these measures collectively, we will be talking about availability of water in abundance in India. Next, we said this is a challenge. So when you harness the true potential in handling the waste in a much better way, the green building through IGBC rating program allows all of us to use abundance and endless reuse. You saw that railway sleeper getting used as a facade in a building, modern building. And it can be used again and again using the various technology. Endless reuse and upcycling is encouraged by IGBC rating program. So waste handling is no more seen as a challenge. So there is a great potential. So together we can harness in handling the waste in a much better way for a betterment. Third is on transportation. So what you see on the left hand side is the most of the cities across the world. When you all start using the individual cars, that is how the scenario is going to be. So when you have more and more usage of public transport, walk to work, cycle, carpooling, or a mixed land use designs are coming in, so we won't be devastating to travel at 10 kilometers per hour speed in a car in a city like Bangalore or Delhi or any of the metros, which is devastating all the resources on the earth and all the more polluting the air. In turn, it is deteriorating our health as well as the health of the planet Earth itself. So by encouraging using a public transport, we will be able to save enormous amount of resources, and our Mother Earth or the nature can heal and recover to its best. Fourth is on energy and renewable energies. By using the energy efficient green building equipment, technology, and system as a whole, in order to bring down the energy demand to the lowest ever possible, then topping it up by the entire energy demand is met by renewable energy sources, will ensure that even if you add another 50 million square feet in the next 40 years, the energy demand is going to grow, but the energy demand can be met with the least emissions by going green. So energy would be available in abundance. So that is a kind of a true potential available. For example, imagine a scenario. The entire 250,000 megawatt is the installed capacity in India of the power plant. So the entire energy required on a theoretical side, if I say everything has to come from a solar panel, people may say that there is no space in India. All we need is 5% of the India's land mass, which is almost 3.6 million square feet. 5% of the land mass can generate all the required energy which comes from 250,000 megawatt of power plant. So renewable energy, the space is not a constraint. It is all the change in our perspectives and the perceptions and the mindset. Once it changes, we can harness to the true potential, and the urban ecosystem is changing it. Some of the cities, they've gone flat, horizontal. They've grown and expanded horizontally. So that is the reason the traffic jams and the resources, and then even the water bodies in some of the cities. For example, Bangalore had thousands of water bodies 100 years ago. Now, many of them, we lost it, as per the recent study done by IISc also. So the urban ecosystem, by growing green with IGBC, it will become compact, and by having a sustainable transportation models, we can harness every single potential available in order to make it as a much world a better place to live in. So each one of us who are listening to this webinar, joining hands with the Indian Green Building Council, we can collaborate much closer than ever before. With the lockdown and COVID has brought in a lot of challenges. We can work more together in order to make greener, healthier, and happier India, so that while harnessing the true potential through adopting our IGBC rating program, there is an economical benefit for the end user. There are profits will go up. There is an environmental benefit for everybody, the people involved, and there is a societal benefit for the people and the planet also. So there is a win-win situation for economy, environment, and society at large. So by harnessing the potential offered by the green buildings in the buildings and the built environment, wherein India is witnessing a huge tectonic changes in the way in which the designs are being approached, the materials and equipment usage is seeing a sea change, the technologies. So every one of you who are listening to this webinar can humbly, we in IGBC humbly request you to become an ambassador to spread the awareness on green buildings and implement the green building elements. What you see, they are all very simple, doable in every practice, whatever you do, and the time to act is now. We don't have any time at all. So the time to act, to harness the true potential, is now. You can join hands with IGBC. So to sum it up, ladies and gentlemen, as you heard from the IGBC's presentation, India offers a huge potential to harness the natural resources, finite and infinite resources, in a much better way. There is a huge, tremendous benefits for the society and nation at large, and it also instills the citizens and the participants like you. When you go greener way with IGBC, it brings in a sense of pride. I have done something unique, so that the country can progress in a much better way, and it also brings in a sense of contribution towards the society. More importantly, ultimately, whatever you are doing, it small or big, by joining hands with IGBC, enhances the quality of life of every living being on the planet Earth. So our father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi ji, said, there is, quote unquote, he said, there is enough resources on earth for everybody's need, but not for everybody's greed. So even adding more buildings to meet our growth, we have to grow, we have to add more buildings. By going green with IGBC way, we will be able to handle the resources in a much better way. So that is the true potential of green buildings offered through IGBC. So once again, from the Indian Green Building Council, thank Ramco Institute of Technology for giving us a wonderful opportunity. For more resources, you can visit our website igbc.in, or you can write to my email ID m.anand@ci.in. So with this, I once again thank you for patient listening, and thank you for your valuable time from 4 to 5 o'clock. So over to you, Karthik Prabhu. Yeah, yeah, coming out of my presentation. Yeah, I will answer the question. See, there is not a code. What we have done is with a collective effort from all our IGBC stakeholders. When I say IGBC stakeholders, 2,000 companies are members of IGBC and 100 technical members are available. What we have done is we have come out with a what do you call how the operational procedure when you open up an office or a home or a campus, what are the guidelines we should follow immediately after the lockdown? We can share it. It is available in our IGBC website also. So, for example, how we encourage entryway systems, sanitation measures, how we can enhance your interior layout for the social distancing, how you should fumigate, what are the housekeeping chemicals you should use, how you can have a non-contact entryway systems or openings of the doors and other elements. So there is a very comprehensive guidelines for buildings, how it has to be operated. The post-COVID guidelines are already prepared by IGBC. You can write to me or you can visit our website. If you're finding it difficult to visit our website, whosoever asks you, write to my email ID. I will share it in another 2 minutes. Yeah, we do work closely with various government agencies. For example, if you are adopting an IGBC rating program in Uttar Pradesh, you will get 5% more built up area. Imagine you are supposed to construct only 1 lakh square feet. If you adopt IGBC rating program, you will be given 1 lakh plus additional 5% space to be constructed. Number two, some of the projects, when you are having a very big campus like 100 acres, you have to go for environmental impact assessment or MOEF, environment and forest for clearances. When you say your IGBC certified, pre-certified project, you will be given a faster clearance. You will be given a preferential treatment. And when you buy a green home from a green developer, which is certified by IGBC, your EMI will come down by 25 basis points on your EMI. Instead of paying 12 EMIs per year, you will be paying only 10 EMIs in a year. So there are a lot of financial incentives for the end users as well as for the not the designers, for the developers also. Yeah, see, all you have to do is for IGBC AP exam, we conduct a 2-day session actually, because what our Ramco Institute of Technology team has given is only 1 hour actually. It is like a T20 match for me. I literally ran through the presentation. So minimum I need a 50-over match or if not a 5-day match. So 2 days of session, we are doing it on online. Last week we did 125 people attended the session. So by attending the session, you will be told whatever I literally ran through the 25 green building measures. We will tell you what is the intent, what is the requirement, and why we are doing that. So once you attend our 2-day session, you will be equipped with all the resources. After that, you read the resources for a week or a 10 days based on your comfort level. Then we have the IGBC AP exam also available. You can take it from wherever you are. It's online, it is available. Whether you are operating from your home or office or institution, wherever you are from, you can take up the exam online. So that is a procedure for IGBC AP. If you have any other concern or any other better way of doing it, you please write to me. I'll be more than happy to associate with you. Wonderful. Thank you, participants. Almost more than 100 plus people. I don't know. I never seen the chat box while presenting. Thank you for joining us. I once again thank Ramco Institute of Technology, especially Mr. Tangam, Mr. Karthik, Prabhu, and Dr. Kannan for inviting me. Thank you. For any support, we are all available. Together, let us make a greener, happier, and healthier India. Thank you. Have a nice evening. Stay home, stay safe.